Yeah.
Yeah. But let me start off by saying this. Congratulations. First of all, I've been following you for years. And I
Thank
want
you.
to just tell you congratulations on the marriage, on the baby, the single. I mean, just your new life. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I want to
Thank
start
you.
with baby. Let's start right there because the single is hot. It reminds me of a Marvin Gaye, Tammy Terrell type vibe. And
What was that? Ain't no mountain high enough.
yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a big inspiration for that.
Mhm.
We
So
go ahead.
no, I was gonna no. Go ahead.
Now, first of all, thank you for following the journey,
Mhm.
for listening to the music. And I will relay the message to Shayna. I think she's
Yeah.
trying to put the baby to sleep right
Okay.
now.
Amen. Amen. I understand.
But no, and then the song, yeah, it was, I don't, just to capture that moment in time. I mean, I could end my career right now and be fine with
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
just that was captured.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun doing that.
So I never knew that she was a singer. Like I knew she did some acting when she was in California. So to hear to hear you and her singing together, I said, I mean, my exact words were, "This is it. This is who you're supposed to be with."
Yeah. I With us being together for what seems like a lifetime, but has only been 4 years.
Wow, that's all it's been, huh?
Yeah, I'm still discovering things about my wife, and
Yeah,
which I will be probably until Jesus comes back.
yeah,
But seeing this, as it pertains to my personal life journey, you're right. Like it's a match made in heaven that I would have never been able to ask for,
yeah.
And yeah, she did some acting. She's a model. She's a life coach. She's a lot of things, and I've. It's not like I've watched it develop. It's more like I've been able to be introduced to something that was already there the
Wow.
whole time.
Okay.
So she had a lot of experience in the music industry.
Mhm.
Working out in LA. I know she
Yeah.
did some work with people like Justin Bieber. She did, she would be around people like Chris Brown a lot.
Mhm, mhm,
And I think she had some bad experiences out in
mhm,
LA, where
mhm.
people were basically trying to take advantage of her because
Yeah,
she's a woman,
yeah,
and, out in LA too. So I know
yeah.
the scene, and I think it just kind of shut her down for a little bit. And so I just really wanted to give her the opportunity to shine, you
Yeah,
know. I
yeah,
really did. And
yeah.
she's got such an influence on my music now.
Mhm.
It's changed a lot since, you know,
Yeah,
before. Yeah, it's just
yeah.
it's a different texture,
I'll agree.
it's a different attitude,
Yeah,
content wise, and then even
yeah.
the approach. So it's been a blessing for me to have that because, I'm in probably my 18th year
Mhm,
doing music,
mhm.
7th year professionally,
Yeah.
fifth
So
studio
your
album.
first album was 2011, I think it was.
That was my first solo album.
First solo album.
Yeah, and
Wow.
I had a group in Columbus before that for about 4 or 5 years called the Elevationists in
The
Columbus, Ohio.
Elevation.
Yeah,
Wow.
and we were like a roots inspired, very neo soul,
Mhm.
hip hop, like
Yeah.
most Def meets
Yeah.
like,
Mhm.
and I would be playing piano and rapping at the same time. We had a
Yeah.
whole band. Um,
Wow.
yeah, it was a thing, and
Yeah.
then we couldn't figure out how to make that fit in the system. We couldn't figure out how to play the game together. So they left me,
Yeah.
and it was just me, and
Yeah.
I started on my own. So
Mhm.
it's been a long journey.
That's all right. So I know when you so I've been following you since 2011. I'll admit that since 2011.
Let's
And so
go.
so all I knew was that this is this guy who I call you urban. I call you my urban Christian vibe. It's like a group, it's like you, Kirk Franklin. I put Ty Tribbett, Dietrich Haddon. I put I put, all of us in that type of that box over there, right? The
What
out of
was
the box
see?
person.
See,
Huh?
I know what urban means to how do I say this? To the non-Black community.
Yeah.
That's pretty much kind of been like a way to classify us.
That we in the hood.
But it seems like in the church arena, urban is like anything that doesn't fit within the parameters of the church.
That's
gospel
me.
Box.
Right. So that's why I appreciate you, right? And I'm gonna be
people don't know. People don't know.
They don't know. So listen, I tell folks all the time, I say you have to, not just because of your music, but let me share this with you. I've listened to you both times that you were on Sway in the Morning.
Okay.
Right? Both times, right? So you
got to see them both times as they happened. You didn't catch up late.
Yes. Remember the question, all of it. You know how you were being prophetic, not knowing you're being prophetic.
Yo, the music was prophetic.
Yeah. I mean,
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, because that's what I was gonna go. I was gonna say, listening to you, I already had respect for your music, but to hear you talking with Sway, and Sway said to you, he said you were one of his favorite. I said, yes, Sway, he's one of my favorite too. I was saying that while he was interviewing you, but I was thinking for the same reason, because your music is so inspirational, but all at the same time, you're so transparent, right?
Yeah. I'm in therapy for that reason, because it was hard basically expressing publicly the things that were happening simultaneously. It's not like I had time to process them. Mm-hmm. They would happen, or sometimes in the case of what you just mentioned, prophetically, mm-hmm. I saw them coming. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And because my music is urban, right, mm-hmm. in the church, mm-hmm. there wasn't really a safe place for it. There wasn't really, when it comes down to fan support, always people have rocked with me, and it's been just so wonderful to kind of be the spokesperson for the unsung community, right?
Yeah.
But whether it was pastors or publications or record labels or different artists or whatever, they were very much like, okay, we love this, but we don't know if we can touch it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, man, all I'm doing is telling all y'all's business and my business at the same time. Like, why don't y'all hop on board?
Right.
Well, that didn't happen for a long time. So you would see an album like Even With Evil With Me was me saying, I'm afraid of what I feel like I could become. I think I was 22 when I wrote that. Started writing that album and put it out when I was 25.
Yeah.
And so that was like I don't know what's coming, but it doesn't feel right. And I just, God, please, like, I don't want to become this guy.
Right.
School of Roses is, I'm becoming this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't, that's me whispering to myself, and like, it's freaky talking about it, like in hindsight now.
Yeah.
And then you move through that to something like the Glory album. And that's, I became this guy, but God showed me him through myself. Like, this is not over. Clear the Air is like, let me really tell you where I'm at now. And then School of Roses 2 coming up. I can't really describe it because it's me again writing. It would be like if I was writing an album while we're having this conversation and then put it out right when we're done.
Yeah.
That's how fresh the music is.
Wow.
You see somebody like Kanye West, he'll be changing his album title and cover art on the day of his release.
Right.
I feel like we were doing stuff like that before the DSPs would let you do it, before the streaming services would let you do it. We were still going back and like editing stuff and begging, iTunes to let us swap songs out, because we the content would change. That Sway interview, that was my first time on a mainstream hip hop platform, as far as, on the radio or publicly. But I have been doing shows with School of Roses in both avenues.
Wow.
Like I had done Essence, I had done
Mhm.
Jet,
Yeah.
but then like I would be in churches.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would do BT, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And I would do churches. Now here's the
Mhm.
thing. I would do churches,
Mhm.
but Christian platforms still wouldn't
But
put me on. So I would be doing Essence,
yeah.
BT, but it's not like I was going to the Stellars.
Right.
But they were rocking with me, but I was just
That's a
right because
word. That's a word.
I'm kind of, I don't know if it was a flight risk or if it was just kind of like we haven't broken through in our parameters. We haven't broken through those parameters yet to allow this to be our thing.
Yeah.
Kirk Franklin was the pioneer of that
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I feel like I'm just hijacking the whole.
No, you're good. No, you're actually in the right vein right now.
Okay, I'm
right
trying to like float around to whatever.
I know. You're in the right vein. Go ahead.
I figured if I just give it all to you, you can just chop it up how you want.
Right, because I'm gonna tell you something. Two things I wrote down. I wrote down Kirk Franklin's name because I did want you to kind of talk about that, and I wrote down Kanye West's name because, like I told you, I've been following you for years, so I know.
So did you see the T-shirt?
Yes.
Yeah, Kirk didn't know I was gonna do that.
He didn't.
Something on the comments.
Yeah, I saw the comment. I saw his comment.
I don't know how many people are like this,
Mm-hmm.
but with me, and I don't know how big or small the demographic is of people who are still rocking with me all this time because I've reached some different communities, audiences.
Mm-hmm.
But if you pay attention to my social media presence, it like what you see is what you get. You know what I mean? Like I say exactly what it is.
Yeah.
You kind of see, what's going on in the comments.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's very human. It's not like, I'm trying to like amplify it or anything. The story is being told. And if you follow the story, you are. And if you're not, then I guess you'll find out, once we put another Stop Me out or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, and then a lot of people won't even, I don't know what they do. So let me not say that. I don't know if a lot of people always come back around to see what they missed.
Yeah.
So I can't worry about that. But I will say this with Kirk, Kirk was a pioneer of not even blending two worlds, but it seemed like he made mainstream music accessible to the church.
That's good. Okay.
When he did what's the joint, the big joint that had
not Stomp.
No, I mean
Stomp with
Stomp is Stomp, but R. Kelly and
Mary J. Blige.
Yeah, Mary J. Blige and Crystal Lewis, Bono.
I'm urban. Yeah.
But like when that came out, that kind of like touched the whole world. Like everybody saw that joint, and it was like you can't argue it.
Right.
Now, Kirk wasn't the first to do it because I remember, like I go way back in the gospel history books. So I remember Marvin Winans and Anita Baker.
Yeah. Come on now. Come on. You remember that? That's way back in the day.
Yeah.
That's when Donnie Simpson was doing BET.
Come on, man. Like, what was that song? It'll be all over
in the morning.
In the morning.
Yeah. You better.
And like, it wasn't like a gospel record and trying to get an R&B singer to come on there and do like fake gospel runs because they don't really know how to do them because they're not gospel. They be doing them R&B runs or gospel songs.
Right. It is what it is.
They be trying, but it's
they be trying. Yeah.
It's cool. It was. We just got you on here. It was like they were doing R&B songs. The Winans were notorious for that.
Yeah.
BB and CC.
Notorious for it.
People don't know. A lot of people don't even realize that Whitney Houston was singing background vocals
for BB and CC.
Yeah, and you can hear her like
and you can hear her records. Right.
Yeah,
she's like my favorite, by the way.
Who?
Whitney was my favorite, and CeCe's like my favorite gospel singer. But for that reason, because it's not, I don't consider BB and CeCe or the Winans traditional gospel. I don't, because
they could do it if they wanted to.
Right, they could. Right, but their music always has that Detroit R&B. I like to say that old school R&B feel to it, always.
Very emotional, right? Like it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't stuck in like okay, this is church time, like let's
Right,
just do the, and there's nothing wrong with that.
right, right.
I grew up listening to Hezekiah Walker, you
Yeah.
know, I grew up listening to the Hawkins.
Mm-hmm.
And a song like Edwin Hawkins' "Oh Happy Day,"
Oh,
like
happy
that's
day.
a classic worldwide. That's not just a gospel. So my whole point with this is like, I felt like Kirk understood the importance of being true to yourself and creating a sound that really encompasses all styles of music, and not being afraid to do that because it doesn't fit a box.
Right, right.
I mean, I grew up listening to that stuff, so naturally when I started making music, I wasn't looking for a box.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So
how did Kirk become your mentor?
you know, I would say Kirk, I wouldn't classify Kirk as a mentor. He's a friend.
Friend, okay.
He was definitely a motivator when I had gotten out of my first record deal with Collision.
Okay.
Because it was a really chaotic transition for me in my career. The way that ended was not pretty.
Okay.
Internally, there was a lot of things. There was a lot of defamation of character. I had made a lot of mistakes, but there was a lot of my reputation had pretty much been shattered internally by a lot of things that were not true. And so I left that record deal and just thought I was going to kind of have to pick up the pieces and keep moving, you know, by myself. And then here comes Kirk. He came out of nowhere, and no pun intended, he came out of nowhere and actually invited me down to Atlanta, took me to the Four Seasons. We talked for a couple hours, ended up at the studio, and there was a connection. There was a connection. And I told him, I said, bro, like, you know, I don't know if you know much of my story, you know, but I've been through a lot of different things. And he said, you don't have to explain that to me. You know, it's I'm Mr. Oprah is what he said.
I love it. I love
it.
So
he mentioned that, and it kind of like eased my mind when it came down to like feeling like I needed to prove myself.
Ooh,
you know?
Good. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So give me 1 second.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Oh, you're fine.
So I just felt like there was definitely clout given by working with Kirk. You know what I mean? Like it definitely was I felt the vindication.
Yeah.
The validation, like coming right out of that, and then, you know, signing my first major deal with Sony and RCA. It was a big deal. And who better to work with than Kirk? Right. So Kirk would have been a huge inspiration for me.
Okay.
But our relationship has always been much more of a friendship.
Yeah.
Because
what I thought was so dope.
Go ahead.
And I commend you. I want to say this publicly. I commend you for this. When he was ready to go in the studio with Kanye, and
he called me.
Yeah.
He called me. I think he was either in the airport or headed to the airport. And, you know, hey man, I just wanna tell you, you know, I'm feeling a little. Yeah, he really felt like, because, you know, remember Kirk, you know, pre his injury, you know what I mean? He had a different voice. Like this it's a little more broken up now. And he really felt like he knew what was coming. He knew he was gonna get bashed.
Yeah.
He knew he was gonna get judged. And also he did not want his good to be evil spoken of.
That's right.
I said, you're Kirk Franklin, bro. Like Kanye's gonna need somebody like you.
That's good.
I don't care if you're the only person in the room, you know what I'm saying, who is a representative of Jesus. Like, be in the room. And but like I said, you know, a mentor-mentee relationship, I don't know if that would have been the conversation. So he let me in very early.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. And I thought how you responded and told him what to do. I was very, you know, that was good to hear that was sound advice, you know. And I want to kind of touch on Kanye a little, because I know he's Now, I want to make sure I read this right. Is he one of your inspirations?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just so you know, I love Kanye. I'm from Chicago, so I'm a Yeezy fan, right? But
you rock with him.
I rock with him. No, I rock. Yeah.
You ain't cancel him.
Never
Okay.
cancel them. Loyal to the end, right? Because
Yeah,
I believe. I mean, before we talk, go into that part about you talk about your Kanye being inspiration, because just like one of the reasons why I have so much respect for you and your story, and you as an artist and as a man, as a Christian, is because of your ability to be transparent through your journey, right? Our journeys aren't perfect, right? And I think oftentimes, kind of when you talk about the whole Essence Stellar War thing, I think sometimes we think that gospel artists or people who confess to be Christians are supposed to be perfect. That we don't mess up, that we don't make bad decisions or bad choices, and we forget about this word called grace, right? And we forget about it all until it's our turn, and then we want everybody to extend us this grace.
Well, we get afraid. Or we get afraid to share it because we know we haven't been extending grace.
Yeah,
so we know what's coming. It's like, oh shoot, like it's about to hit the fan and everybody gonna find out, and now my career is over. And I'm like, but it shouldn't have to be. Like, if God hasn't discounted you and told you that you're done, then like, why should people be able to tell you? Right. Oh, it's because you've been telling people that they're done every time they mess up. So now you're scared, and yeah, we got to change that.
I like that. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so that's why and so that's why for me, every time folks say you still rock with Kanye. Yeah, I do. I still, when
I just like Kanye because he's consistent. Like,
that's what I said. Thank you. He's consistently Kanye.
He's Kanye. He ain't never switching up. He's gonna, 1 minute he's gonna be like the softest, kind-hearted dude.
Yeah.
The next minute he's had enough.
Yeah.
Like, and you get both sides. You get both sides.
Right. All the time.
So I think he's been a huge inspiration, even musically. I haven't talked about this. I was kind of off the grid when Jesus is King came out.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if I would ever talk about this. Because I didn't want to seem opportunistic. If you've been following me, that's not my move. I don't jump out, when during a trendy issue and start saying a bunch of stuff. I wait. Yep,
that's right.
And then when God tells me to say something, I say something, and it's usually completely different than what everybody else said.
Yeah.
But with Jesus is King, I was talking to No Malice yesterday, actually. And he and I are close friends. Gene, he used to be with the Clips, I'm talking about. Yeah. And he and I had spoken May of 2019. And he was telling me a little bit, I won't get into detail about the full conversation, but he was telling me about some, we'll just say, insecurities about just trying to really figure out how to maximize this season of life. His tenure as an artist being coupled with where he's at in his spiritual life. Let's just say he was turning away a lot of opportunities because he's already done it. He's already reached the threshold. He's not interested in getting back out there and just being, where he was. And I was encouraging him to tell him, like, no, bro, your voice is needed. And basically let me know if I can help you in your journey at all. Like, I will rock with you. I will write with you. Like, let's go. I've seen people transition from, mainstream hip hop to Christian hip hop and kind of almost forget how to rap.
That's right. Right. I gotta do this different.
Yeah, they're like, oh man, I gotta make sure I got this Jesus sauce. Like, nah, that's our problem.
Right. That's our problem right there.
We've been trying to do God's job for him. He's asking us to be ourselves.
That's right.
And so here's the point though. What I was telling him to encourage him, I heard Kanye in his Zane Lowe interview when he released Jesus is King basically say almost word for word what I told No Malice. At the end of that interview, he's telling Zane Lowe that No Malice was one of the biggest inspirations for him for Kanye to start writing again.
Wow.
And he told him that he told Zane what No Malice had said to him,
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, we had this conversation in May. So I was like,
wow. Wow. Wow.
I had a little moment, yo, where I was
yeah.
like, what? Because you know that album,
That's heavy.
by far the biggest album that came out last year. Not
Yeah,
even
by far.
question.
By
Just
far. Yep.
changed everything.
The game.
And I don't think I've ever seen Jesus promoted that much in a music album ever.
Ever.
Yeah, he like
he changed the game.
But God used Kanye West to flex.
Yes. Yes.
To remind the entire globe that Jesus is king. God used Kanye for that. And I'm listening to him reference a conversation and Kanye don't know me.
Yeah.
He don't know I had that conversation with No Malice, potentially right before he spoke to him.
Right.
So, you know, I can't make it Together Forever too and be like,
right.
No Malice called me before he talked to Kanye. Like, I just gotta like hold that to myself.
Right.
But I'm saying all that to say, like, God has used me to be a voice for our generation. Even if I've had to face opposition, even if people don't believe me, even if people don't rock with me, even if people don't like it, he's using me to, if I can go down in history knowing that I was a part of Kanye West's conversion on 2 occasions. One with Kirk, 2 with No Malice.
Yes.
And there were only, I think the only 2 rappers who were on that entire album was No Malice and his brother.
That's it. That's powerful.
So that prophetic thing, man, it's a real thing.
It's heavy, right? It's heavy, right?
It don't work like we thought it worked in church.
It don't.
You ain't got to get in the prayer line for it. You know what I mean? Like it's when God tells you something, and even if he has you speaking to another person, it could literally be for somebody else. It could be for a king. And you may never know it, and they may never know it. So
that's powerful.
Yeah, I still rock with Kanye.
Yeah, that's powerful. I'm not gonna hold you much longer. I do want to 2 more things I want to say to you.
Yeah, my bad. I'm on a wave.
No, you're fine. You had during back to that Sway interview when you talked about Shayna. You had said then that your hope and prayer was that people would be able to know that your relationship was real, and that they'll be able to see, after that interview, your journey, right? And I guess you guys was together. Was it Together Forever? What did you drop in?
You mean the second interview?
Yeah, the second one when you brought Shayna on. Because you said something to Sway.
We played a clip from Together Forever.
Yes, that's right.
To start it because we sampled the interview the first interview.
That's right.
And put it at the end of Together Forever.
Put it at the end of Together Forever, right? And you said to Sway that day that you would pray and hope that people would be able to feel you and the realness of your relationship because of the turmoil you guys got through getting together, right?
Yeah.
So I want to say to you that has come true. I mean, I watch your Instagram, her Instagram, when you got married, when you posted your wedding pictures, all of that, and just the love, the genuine love.
Oh my God.
That's there, right? You see it, you feel it through the screen, and you feel it in baby.
One of my biggest problems has been trying to, wait for the approval of people. Like, I'm gonna give it to you.
Yeah.
But instead of just walking away, I'm still out there like, did you get it?
Yeah.
Did you get it? And it's caused me to miss out on a lot of things in life. Even seeing the blessings that God has given me has made it difficult for me because I really want people to get it. Because it's not really for me, it's for them. It's like, hey, everybody else out here who might be going through a divorce or who, that whatever they're dealing with, it has led them down a path that they think that they would be condemned for, and everybody would just write them off. I want you to know that there is another chance for you. And I want you to know that your relationship with God is between you and him. And I want to show you that if you trust him, even in the midst of a dark situation, he will shine a light that will be brighter than what it was before it got dark.
My God.
And if I have to be the example of that,
Yeah.
then I will be. But you better believe I want you to get that. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
God's like,
Yeah.
stop trying to make people get it. That's my
Yeah.
job.
Yeah. That's
You
right.
get it.
Yeah.
And you live it.
Yeah.
And you display it.
That's good.
So, you know, that interview was rough because Sway pulled an okie doke and pulled her into the interview.
But let me tell you, but she handled herself. Shayna handled herself very well.
She does that.
Yeah, before she got up, you said, oh, she got it. And when she got up, she handled because Sway asked her a tough question, right? And I literally was in my car. I'll never forget. I was in my car and I was like, you go, girl. I was like, go.
She's been dealt a pretty rough hand going into this because, you know, my fan base, I think a lot of them may come from a more hypocritical audience. Mm-hmm. I won't say that the fans themselves are Pharisees, but I know the space that I was in the Christian hip hop community specifically is full of a lot of cultish mentalities.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm just being honest. I talk about it in the music all the time. That's what Stop Me was about. That's what, you know, I talk all about it all the time. Mm-hmm. And I mean, from the lower to the uppers, there's just been this silent rule book that if you guys were to see it the way I've seen it, because I didn't know about it. I just got drawn into it. I just came there to do my job, just like I was doing before, and like I'm doing now. And I got introduced to this entire scheme. Mm-hmm. Well, that scheme has been very pharisaical. It's been very judgmental. It has a list of maybe 1 or 2 sins that, you know, that are appropriate. And the rest of them, you know, you just get discounted, right?
That's right.
It lets pride and arrogance run people, oppress people, manipulate people, and get away with it. And then just send you out packing if you don't look like the way they want you to look without ever telling you that.
That'll preach right there, Christian.
But peak game, this is a real thing that's still happening. And what a lot of people don't know is I've had the chance to see the effects of how it's affected fans. Fans, they listen to these people's music and they hear these messages and they go back and they do their research and they get their brands tatted on their arms, right? And they go to the shows and they try to act like them, and they end up becoming judgmental. They end up, you know, feeling like their theology isn't solid enough, so now they got to go do this and that, talk like this and do this and plant. And it's just like, yo, I'm here, and I'm like, oh God, how are we going to change this? And he's like, God is like, I'm going to make you go through something that all of them will hate you for. And then right in front of their faces, I'm going to rise you to the top. And they're not going to see it, but the people who they influenced will.
Yeah, they'll see it.
Because I'm not a warrior. I'm a shepherd.
Yeah.
A warrior is a competitor. Mm-hmm. A warrior fights people for sport. Mm-hmm. I fight people because I'm protecting the flock.
Yeah, that's good.
So I just want the sheep to be led the right way. That's all I want.
Yeah. Where does it start? Where does it start at? So I thought I was done, but see, now you got me on a whole nother.
My part is, I thought it started with, you know, going out here and slaying giants.
Yeah.
But I had to realize it starts with, you know, that personal time. Mm-hmm. You know, David, he didn't start by slaying giants, and he actually didn't start just by tending the sheep. Mm-hmm. It was that personal worship. It's him sitting on that harp. You know what I mean? It's what he's doing before and after he's even tending to the sheep.
Yeah.
And I'll admit I lost that part. You know, I went out here and started, you know, I see that giant. I ain't afraid of that. I'm gonna go, you know, and I lost that part. And you see that in my journey. You see it. Well, okay, Chris lost it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Kanye lost it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Just like you see, and you can say, you know, congratulations and all that stuff. You can also, if you wanted to, be like, yeah, and I saw the part where you was tripping too.
Yeah. But look, that's why I can say congratulations, because I know you made it over. Too. Yeah.
I think it starts and ends with not trying to do God's job.
Yeah.
But walking into any environment confident because of your personal time and worship and understanding of him, knowing that he will fight and win every single battle for you, even if he uses you.
Yeah.
We're just instruments.
That's it. Okay, one last question.
Go for it.
What's going on in our world today? What do you think is? I mean, from the pandemic to all the
which one? Which pandemic?
Right, which pandemic? Right, I was going to say that to all of our brothers being murdered at the hands of police. I mean, I could just go on. Now, I kind of referenced a little bit earlier. You know, I'm from the South Side of Chicago.
Yeah, I know.
So I know. I grew up with the police, right?
The police.
The popos.
Do you watch the show? Do you watch The Chi?
Yes. We're just talking about that a little while ago. Yes.
I mean, I got friends in Chicago and I've been there several times.
Mm-hmm.
I like that show a lot because it allows you to see just the humanity, you know what I mean? The different characters, you know what I'm saying? All around. I don't know, do you still watch it? Or did you?
Yeah, I watched it the Sunday night.
Okay, so they got rid of that cop though. Remember that cop who was in the first season? I miss him. What happened to him? Like, he was a good representation, especially now. He should have been back, you know?
Now.
But I know that there's been, you know, I've seen some recent like interviews and stuff like that surface where people are trying to kind of get the perspective of, you know, locals in Chicago, you know, in the hoods and stuff like that. Yeah. And I mean, for me, I think that the media is probably the most dangerous weapon out here. I released Beautiful Dreamer recently.
I love Beautiful Dreamer, by the way. I was rocking that before Baby came out. Every morning. Yeah, every morning. Yeah.
When the second one, there's a remix with Propaganda. And the opening line I said was, now everybody hit the streets. The camera shoots us all. So everybody gets a piece. So piece play on words, a piece like gun. You get a piece of the story. You never get the full story.
Yeah.
You get the piece that you can turn into whatever you want. You know, whether that's a CNN report or whether that's a Shade Room post. You know what I'm saying? You're getting pieces. And the media takes pieces and they create stories around pieces. Yeah. That's why they call them pieces.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm saying, okay, protesters, pastors, bloggers, journalists, understand that what you're doing right now is you're playing a role, the same role potentially that the media is playing as a whole. The camera is shooting people. The camera is killing people because it is broadcasting a moment in time and allowing people to create full-blown narratives around a moment.
Yeah. Yep.
And we lack context. Yeah. Sometimes it causes us to lack empathy.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And then even at best, if you are watching the full story, you don't know the people.
Right.
You don't know them.
Right. Right.
You have no idea who they are and you can't speak for them.
Right. Right.
Now, everybody gets a chance to speak except for the victims and except for the criminals. Yeah. Now, I understand some of the victims are dead. But sometimes we don't even get a chance to hear from their families until, you know, it's like some elevated press,
that's right.
You know, like
moment.
And it's like, by that time, we've already decided how we feel, both about them and about the whole situation. Yeah. And as Christians, I believe that we have to be able to submit when it gets overwhelming. And even before, we have to submit and say, God, you're in control of the situation. You knew what was going to happen. Help me stand up for justice, but help me invite people to see your glory.
That's good.
That's all we can do.
Yeah, that's good.
So I put my emotions on display. Yeah. I'm heartbroken.
Yeah.
I'm afraid.
Yeah.
As a man, as a Black man, I'm like I mentioned earlier, I'm in therapy for this. You know what I mean? I've started to have nightmares about white Jesus. I grew up in a Black church where we had a stained glass window in the back with white Jesus.
Yeah.
And then I went to an all-white private school where that same white Jesus meant something totally different.
That's right.
Right? You can be in those hoods, south side of Chicago, right?
Yep.
And you can go to churches there and still see that, right?
Yeah, right down the wall.
It means something more now than it probably did even when, you know, the generation before us was protesting.
Yep.
Because now it's become fully acceptable.
Yeah.
We've been told that we are unified. And the church is the one who's creating the biggest problems.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
And so
it is.
when I see that the church is leading the charge for oppression, I really need to pray.
Yeah.
Because the worst thing I can do is try to fight an oppressor, you know what I mean, on my own. I pray to God that he flips the oppressor the same way he flipped Saul and turned him into Paul.
Jesus.
Right?
Yep.
Because we got to look at these people and see ourselves, and we got to look at ourselves and see Jesus.
That's it.
Little sneak peek at the end of this month or close to it, I am releasing another song that talks about that even further. And it's less of a PSA, and it's more of like a broken lament, because I'm hurt. I'm hurt and I'm afraid, and I need redemption for the fear that I've stored up, and it has come out in my worship. So we get back to that David on the harp.
I love it.
We get back to that. Coronavirus, to answer your question, I mean, you know, we just need to take it seriously.
Yeah. Period, right?
You know what I mean? Like, don't play games with it.
Yeah.
It ain't a puzzle. You know what I mean?
Right,
it's
right.
Like, don't play games with it, or else we'll just remain infected.
Yeah. Period.
I just say stay inside.
Yes. You telling me to stay inside.
Stay inside.
Stay inside. It'll be over in the morning.
It'll be all over.
Thank you, Christon. We got to talk again when you drop your other song at the end of the month.
Listen, anytime.
Okay,
anytime.
I appreciate you. Tell Shane I said hello, okay?
I sure will.
All right, thank you.
Take care. Yep.